morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm going to take a moment here to do a little camera moving. Sorry. See if I can get this mount out of the frame. Still getting used to how I have this set up. That's better. Okay. One more little adjustment maybe. I've changed how I am mounting my phone, and I'm still kind of getting used to what's in the frame and what's not. And okay. Let's get started. So hello this morning to Roseanne and Gladys and Paula. Thanks for joining me. If you are popping on at some point, please do say hello in the comments, either live or on replay. I do like to see who is joining me. Oh, I'm getting everything crooked here. So here we go. Today in the US, North America, rest of the world, yesterday, here in Australia, this annual catalog went live, which means I can now show you the inside. So this is the suite that I received last week. I have only unpackaged it. I have not played with it yet, and we're going to do that today. This is called Countryside Inn Suite Collection, and it consists of yummy, yummy, yummy blue DSPs, which I will show you. And, oh, yes, this stamp set, which I should pull out because I didn't. Let me grab that real fast. It's called Countryside Corners. And I've done nothing with it. See, all I do is stick it on my shelf. But it is one stamp. And it stamps all these different layers, which then coordinate with these dies that will cut out just the ones that you want, or you can use the big one to cut out the entire thing. And then it also has this embossing folder. I'm going to move this out of the way now so we can see things. And there we go. Let's pull in a little bit of something so you can actually see. So these are the colors in the suite. I'll see if you can see this a little bit better here. And I'm wearing blue to go with it all. Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. And this is one that I'm going to have to remember. It goes upside down to have the pattern the way I think is right side up. The flowers are pointing up this way. Okay, so these are the colors that are in this suite. Boho Blue, which is our new in color. Misty Moonlight, which is a returning color. And then Night of Navy and Balmy Blue, which are continuing from previous years. So Misty Moonlight was an in color a couple years ago, and now they're bringing it back to be part of our regular family for a while. We don't know how long any colors are going to last. And here is the designer series paper. So there are 12 by 12 sheets, and this is A side, B side. That's what I call them. It has cute little rabbits on it. And then it is very, very kind of American country, which isn't always my thing, but I love the blues. And I do actually love, you know, it looks like bandanas. And I've got an idea for how to maybe not make the cute bunnies so much of a feature when you don't want to. So this one has birds and flowers, and then on the back it's these lovely Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy stripes. And this one, I guess it's supposed to be like, I think that's supposed to be boho blue. Sort of a washed out boho blue maybe, and balmy blue and Night of Navy. I don't know, it's gonna be, I'd probably put this one on, maybe it's, that looks good. And it looks good on navy. I probably would not put boho blue on there. Because maybe it's more like a washed out Misty Moonlight. I don't know. But there's things that you can put it with that'll look good. This one's got foxes, and then this is the back side. That's a very subtle neutral. And it's intriguing to me because when you put balmy blue next to like Pool Party or Coastal Cabana, it's very blue and not so green. But when you put it next to all these other true blues, it pops out more green. So that's interesting. I love this one. There's just something, and I love the backside too. I always do that. My favorite, my favorite A's and B's together. But I am happy that sometimes we get designer series paper where the A side and the B side really don't go together. And there's some designs where you want to be able to see both sides. And so it's nice when they do work together. And then this one's really straightforward. And I like it. So I have an idea of something I want to try. I haven't done a proof of concept yet, so you're going to have to bear with me. You can see I haven't cut any of these. Which one did I think I was going to try with? I think I'm going to try with the bunnies. So let me set the rest of those aside and bring in my paper trimmer. And I am going to cut a panel the same size as a card base. So when I do this, I actually go just a tiny smidge wider. I'm at 15 centimeters. Yes, I agree, Paula. The colors do it for me, and it's country without, I don't know. It is country. But you know, if they had called it something like with an Indian name, I probably would have gone with that too. And that's maybe where a lot of the country stuff, I think, comes from, like the bandanas, which were actually from India originally. So, you know, there we go. And then there's 10.5. And now I've got a basic white thick card base that I'm intending that to go on. And I did it just a tiny scotch wide because sometimes my cutting's a little wonky on the base, and that way it's easy to just trim it off. I'm not usually off on that. So I'm gonna set that aside for now and bring in, which color do I want to do for my layers? I think boho blue is the way to go. I'm going to see what I've got in my scrap folder. Boho blue, there's a base. There we go. Let's do that one to start with. And, you know, I love the paper, but I'm thinking to sort of tone down the bunnies. We're gonna cover up a good amount of it. Let's see, where does this one go? Yep, I think I'm going to cut out one of those. So I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss over here to the side, and I'm just going to run this through really fast. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss that with this Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. And I'm going to bring this in just to show you. When it's a 3D embossing folder, we get rid of these 3 plates and we use the base platform and that solid gray, that solid gray plate. That's for 3D embossing. But with regular embossing, you get rid of the number 2 plate. That's for the wafer thin dies. You put that on. You line this up where you want it. And this is one, if you care about things being centered or straight, it is going to take a moment to get it pretty good there. And sandwich it between the 2 clear plates. Oh yeah, I did all of that, and then, geez, sometimes it's easier, because it's got this great line across the bottom, sometimes it's easier to see when you're straight lining up on that one. I'm also trying to get it centered. I call you good. And always run your embossing folders through with the folded side, the hinge side first, so you don't put pressure on it. So you're going this way. Put that on there. And now this set, this suite, remember it came with this stamp set, which does not have any sentiments. So I'm going to grab a couple of sentiment sets. There's all kinds of cool things we could do here. But the question is, what do I want to do? I'm going to start, I think, have some fun with this while I keep thinking about sentiment. I will, let's see, that is not big enough, so I get to bring out my least favorite block because I think these are so unwieldy. But I will take this opportunity to show you my favorite way to do the labels. Stampin' Up! Suggests you crack this and peel off this side and line it up this way. I find that often to be not as accurate as I would really like. So I take that off and I mount the label on my block. And then I get right over it, and I can now see the edge of my label. Come here. And I can see the edge of the stamp, and I get a much better alignment. The big ones, it's hard to see everywhere all at once. There we go. So I'm going to give this a quick wipe with a damp chamois. And I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy, I think. And again, when the stamp is bigger, especially when the block is bigger than the stamp pad, I bring the pad to the stamp, and then I'm just going to lay that on there and press and hold. There we go. Cute. Okay, that's cleaned off. Now, which one is this? That is that one. Okay. I'm going to cut out, I think, one bigger. I'm going to go put that through the machine here. Just getting it all lined up, sorry. Whoops. Guess what? Forgot to put that back in. Fortunately, after all that time positioning the die, I had used some washi tape to hold it down. And that's my other piece here. I'm gonna cut another one here. So I think if you wanted to do this in a single layer, and not like that, what you could do is bring in your Stampin' Write marker, the round one, and just ink the ring that you wanted and stamp that, and not then have to go and cover up. But I'm going to cover up. That's going to go on there. So I have, there are all the bunnies, and you can still see some of the bunnies, but it's not so much in your face. You still get the feel of the paper, but it's more in the background. And I'm going to keep going here. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to do white embossing, which I think I do, or navy, but I'm going to do white. The question is still, which sentiment? Everything, should be everything wonderful. Just a straight old happy birthday. I think I'm going to do this one. I like this one. Wow, sorry. It's my Versamark pad. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat, because this is photopolymer and it is thin lines, but we want to make sure we get a good amount of Versamark on there, I think. Okay, and all kinds of moving parts. I did actually bring, oh, so sorry. My embossing setup over here. You see, Nicole was here one time and decided to doodle on my grid paper. Okay, and I can see, because I use my embossing buddy, this little powder-filled pouch, I don't have stray embossing powder other places. I do see that it's a bit crooked, but I'm not going to worry about that. I am heating up my heat tool because I want it to be hot enough to really give the embossing powder a good blast without having to spend time heating up the cardstock, because I find that it can kind of discolor. Sometimes I heat from the back a little bit. It helps with the curling too. And then there it goes, starts to change. So, can you see that? It has gone melted and glossy. Whoops. I see one little spot. It needs another hit. There we go. Okay, let's bring this back in to go on there. And we're not done yet, but let's get this stuck on. I am just going to set this heavy block. This is my favorite thing to do with this heavy block. Set that on top there just to get it to lay flat and adhere. I'm going to put this on now. That gets it right as I want it, all the way covered, and now I've got that to trim off. I'll bring in my paper trimmer. Come here. There we go. Lined right up. It's a hint of bunny, yes. And then I want to use some ribbon. And I wanted to show you, there's that piece, ribbons that I've got in my stash that will work with this suite. So these two are current. This is the Night of Navy bordered ribbon. It's carried over into the new catalog. It was in the mini as part of the Regency Park suite. And I've used a lot of it because I did a lot of stuff with that suite for my stamp camp. And then this is the new boho blue textured, what do they call it? 3/8" textured ribbon, and it's really pretty. But I also have just a little bit of the retired Flowers for Every Season. This was a duo, but it's got some of that Misty Moonlight and white and silver, and that would look really cool on something with this. I've got a long retired Night of Navy gingham. I don't have lots and lots, but on something that's kind of country, and that could go. And I also have the I'm calling this the twice retired because we had it when I still lived in the States and it retired, and then they brought it back as part of another suite, what, maybe 2 years ago? But this is the denim 3/8" ribbon. And yeah, I'm still on that same roll, but that would work well with this. And then this white frayed ribbon. And I think that's what I'm actually going to use here because I have the length of it already that I'd cut for something else that I didn't do. I'm just trying to figure out which layers it's going to go kind of between. I think maybe there. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to glue this one down. So if you've joined me since I started, please do say hello in the comments. I'm working my way through my first card with the Countryside Inn suite of products. Is somewhat centered there. And find my, let me get my bigger ribbon scissors. Okay, so I'm going to bring in some tear and tape. That's my favorite way to adhere ribbon to my card fronts when it's not wrapping around to the back. This stuff, it's not just sort of frayed on the selvages there, but this stuff, it frays at the ends very, very easily. So be careful about getting too close and handling them too much at the ends. But I was worried about trying to cut it once it was stuck down, so I did it in advance. Come here. Yeah, I was worried when they took the stitched rectangles away. I'm actually not so happy that they're gone. I haven't actually taken them out of my collection yet, but we'll see. These could stand in there for a lot of things. Because they're really, I mean, it's a modern, Paula was right, it's a modern, fresh take on country. Because yes, I can see the country, but it's not our 80s take on country, which is good. We don't need to go back to that. Okay, I'm going to use dimensionals to put this on. And I'm putting them where the ribbon, I'm leaving a channel for the ribbon because that's got some thickness to it. And I don't want to stick dimensionals on top there because it'll be uneven. I think that's even and straight. And now I think it needs some embellishments. So I was going to show you embellishment options. These are the new in color dots, and I know I talked about them on a previous live about how they're really glossy and everything, but they're not shimmery, sparkly the way the glitter ones are. I figured it out. It's cat's eye type of effect there. And when it's tone on tone like that, it's really kind of a cool effect. And then these are the other current ones. These are the adhesive back solid gems, and they, obviously you can buy them on their own, but they're also part of that Fresh as a Daisy suite, and they also have this boho blue, which is pretty cool. And then the classic matte dots. Apparently I've used a lot of white one. Ah, there we go. Classic matte dots. I'll just keep layering up options there. Has the white ones, which I think could be a nice option on there. Something, we've got so much tone on tone, maybe a little pop of the white to go with those could be good. Oh, if we wanted to go darker, these are the Enamel Dot Essentials. I think they're still current. I hope so, because I haven't used them yet. And they also have, I think maybe I like, they're a little bit lower profile, maybe, than I don't know. They're a little glossier. But also could go with the very dark. That's a very dark Night of Navy. Comes off almost black on there. And then I think they just retired these. These are part of Regency Park as well. I'm going on and on and on, aren't I? But it's fun to play with options. These are the adhesive back milky dots, and they've got, that's supposed to be Night of Navy. Look at how, this is Night of Navy. This is Night of Navy. They're very different, but these are the white milky dots. And they're not as stark white. I'm thinking no on those. I'm just gonna put those away. And then these are balmy blue. They're a different version of, what did they call it? These called solid faceted gems, and the other ones were adhesive back solid. Anyway, different color ranges. I think technically these are retired. Those are balmy blue. These are boho blue. This is Night of Navy. I think we're gonna go with white because there's blue. These are also retired blue gems. Yeah. Okay. Enough playing around. Now it's time to choose which white ones. Right? I think I'm gonna go with these. Let's get everything else out of the way. Bring in my take your pick tool. Favorite way to put on embellishments. And I slide it off the plastic sheet. And I lay them on. I'm not pushing them on. I'm just sort of laying them to get a sense of placement. Let me see. I'm going to play here for a moment while we look at this and see if I can. Yeah, I don't think I can zoom in. Oh, yes, I can. Look at that. Come this way. Zoom in a little bit more. Nice. Can I go back though? That's what's, whoops. Always been the problem. Once I'm in, I think I'm in. Oh, no, there I went out. Well, you might end up with just a big close-up, so maybe we'll just do that at the end. I'm liking that. I'm going to call it good. I'm going to go ahead and press them down to adhere them and call it good. So I hope you like that. I hope you see how covering up the DSP kind of lets it, I mean, it's still a big feature, but it's not hitting you over the head with the bunnies, especially since there isn't an actual full head of a bunny anywhere. Yeah, so happy shopping in the new catalog. So exciting. I did stay up and, well, I was staying up to get my retired stuff listed on my online store. So if you're in Australia and you want to buy my retired product, go to nancysniftynotes.com and there's a link into my online store. I have not posted anything to eBay yet, so there's still lots of good stuff there. But that got me close enough to midnight when our catalog went live that I stayed up and I ordered, I'm going to show you, because I can. I ordered this, where is it? Earth and Elegance suite. Oh, and we are on close-up, aren't we? So it's this suite, really rich, earthy tones. And this is going to be the focus of my product playground for my second class in May, June, and July. And it's yummy. And we're gonna have fun playing with that. But I wanted to be sure that I got it so I could get started. So I ordered right away and it shipped later the same day. There's that designer series paper. And yeah, I could get it as early as Friday, though maybe not until early next week, but that's okay because I want to have it to play with it. So maybe that's what we'll be doing next week. So join me same time, same place next week, and I will see you then. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.